was slated to do it on my 30th birthday. Okay, my wife, it was a surprise. I had no idea. Day before, the skydiving place, they call and say, hey, we're having trouble with our airplane. And we gotta go ahead and cancel. I'm like, whoa, yeah. I would have a parachute, but at the same time, well, you can't get out of the boat.
I would say that's a sign from somewhere saying you probably shouldn't be jumping out of these airplanes.
Be Nice Individuals Podcast. Hey folks, this is Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals Podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. A very special guest in the studio. It's Ryan Anderson from Atlantic Benefit Consultants. Yes, I said it right. Atlantic Benefit Consultants. Because I didn't know if it was benefits or whatnot. I didn't know if it was I got it, though. I got it. Ryan, how you doing today, bro?
Can't complain. Thank you for the introduction, Thaddeus.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just talking briefly off camera. You are a former firefighter. Tell me about that.
So when I graduated, how far back do we want to go? We'll go back to the high school days. Yeah. So born and raised in Ormond Beach. I went to Seabreeze High School, graduated from there, and was going to go the traditional college route, and because I figured that's kind of what you had to do to be successful and make it in this world. So started school, realized that, hey, this really wasn't going to be the thing I loved or was truly passionate about. Kind of found myself falling into the rut of just college life. I was just slumming it out, and so I was like, all right, what can I do to be more productive in this life? And started looking, doing aptitude tests and all those good things, and stumbled upon firefighting, and went from there. So I went through fire school, EMT school, and then paramedicine school, and worked here in Flagler County for about 2 years.
Nice.
And got the opportunity to go travel for work after that.
What?
And so I traveled for a couple of years.
In firefighting?
No.
Okay.
No. Totally unrelated.
I thought you were...
I should have transitioned that a little better.
No, wait, you gotta hear what I was thinking. You became one of those guys that jump out of the planes.
No, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I actually have a friend that I went to high school with that is out west, does the wildland firefighting, and he is he's pretty. I can't say the word badass, but he's a cool dude now. So
we can say it on here.
All right, cool. Yeah, he's a badass individual. He's got a wife and kid now, same age as me, which is 26. Yeah. And he's got it going on. Yeah,
David Goggins, I believe he does that stuff.
Oh, David Goggins.
Oh, you like David Goggins?
Yeah, David Goggins, cool dude.
Yeah. But there was that movie, was it Hot Shots or something like that? The guys that were jumping out of the planes?
Yeah, they had the smoke jumpers, or I think that's what they call them now, right? Smoke jumpers?
I don't know. But
yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, that was. I didn't really like how it ended, but I'm not, no spoiler alerts to anyone who hasn't seen it. But it's pretty cool.
Definitely a must watch for sure. Even if you're not into the whole firefighting thing, it's got a good plot.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. Wouldn't do it per se. There are two things in life that I don't like.
Jumping out of airplanes, probably one of them. Nope. Okay.
I've never jumped out of an airplane.
Neither have I.
I was slated to do it on my 30th birthday. Okay, my wife, it was a surprise. I had no idea. The day before, the skydiving place, they call and say, hey, we're having trouble with our airplane. And we gotta go ahead and cancel. I'm like, whoa, yeah. I would have a parachute, but at the same time, well, you can't get out of the boat.
I would say that's a sign from somewhere saying you probably shouldn't be jumping out of these airplanes.
So I don't necessarily have a fear of heights and jumping out of planes. I haven't been there, I did get a little bit of anxiety when she told me that she had scheduled the skydive, but I don't like fire and I don't like water.
Okay.
In the sense, like, I don't want to drown and I don't want to catch fire. I don't want either one of those things, but I don't know. But it's thank you for your service, dude. That's awesome. Not a lot of people want to go out and put their life on the line to either protect someone or save somebody else's life. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely a very, even though it was a short duration, it's very rewarding. The group of guys that are here in Flagler County and the Palm Coast Fire Department, awesome individuals and girls. Can't leave them out too now. But They're a lot of really, really strong individuals and do a great job to this community.
Yeah. Awesome. And so you transitioned. You said you started to travel for work. Was it with the company you're with now, or was it a different company?
So they kind of all tie into each other. So a family friend approached me and said, hey, we're looking for a young individual that's willing to travel. You don't necessarily have, I'm not tied to anything. I have family here, right? But I'm not married. I don't have a kid or anything like that.
Or
so
a
there's
dog,
nothing,
I assume.
no dog. So there's nothing that's tying me to this place specifically. So like, we want somebody that's, open-minded and is willing to go travel. And I was like, well, I have no business background. I was a firefighter. I mowed some lawns in high school and did some landscaping, but business non-existent. I could talk to people, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no problem. You just come on and give it a shot. And I was like, okay, cool. So literally that week I flew up to Boston, which is where the headquarters was, and learned about the products, which were air particulate monitors. We did like environmental monitoring for U.S. embassies and like the EPA. To explain it in a short synopsis.
Keep people from getting anthrax or something like that, or
in a way, yeah. So
I was just guessing.
Since so you look at the air, right, and it's clear.
Yeah.
You just look like, okay, this is just oxygen. But to tell the quality of the air in this room, how would you? So it's literally a little laser that shoots across to a mirror, and when the time the laser comes back, how much of that laser is distorted from the contaminants in the air is counted and captured by a little photo detector within the product, and it tells you, okay, there's X amount of particles this size per this amount of volume of air. And so pretty cool.
Sounds like parts per million when you're thinking about like water and stuff like that.
Similar.
Yep.
Yeah. So I got to travel around for a couple years, got to go to a lot of amazing places, see a lot of things, meet a lot of very awesome people, influential people.
Yeah.
And that was one of the greatest experiences I've had. I learned a lot about business, how to treat people, how to, talk to different, cultures of people, because, how you do business with somebody in Russia versus how you do business with somebody
you went out of the country.
All the time.
Dude.
Somebody, in Greece is totally different. So it was a very, very cool experience.
That's
and
cool.
then but I was flying roughly about 200 flights a year, and so which averages out to like less than every 3 days I was on an airplane.
Oh wow.
And that includes segments, so layovers and everything else, but yeah, roughly 200 flights a year, and that gets very, very tiring very quick.
Yeah.
So my mom is in the health insurance industry. She's been telling me about health insurance for years. I got in touch with Deborah Sefton. I got my license, and then I've been doing this for roughly a year now. And I would say this is the most comparable thing to firefighting in a way, which sounds crazy.
Yeah, it does. Tell me about it.
It's except I get to pick my clients, whereas 911, you don't pick your clients. You go to whoever, whenever.
I see what
now
you did there.
it's like you still get to help and service people. It's a completely free service, right? We are paid through the insurance company. It doesn't cost an individual any less or any more to go through an independent broker.
Okay.
And it's nice. You just go and have a conversation with people. You're open and honest, and that's the power of being independent. So I'm not sitting there trying to sell somebody on a specific product. I'm simply there in their best interest, and I get paid for it. It's the greatest job I could ever. If you were to look at a drawing board and say, what could I make the best job ever?
Yeah.
It's like sales, but you're not collecting money from people, and you're just helping them. It's awesome.
Yeah. Now, I love that about brokers. I love that brokers have access to a variety of different products, because obviously when you only have one product, your product is the bee's knees.
100%.
You're just there to sell your product. But when you're a broker, of course you may favor certain products, but at the same time, they're all there and you're educating yourself about them. Different companies are educating you about their various products. And so you're closer to the line of, objectivity versus subjectivity.
Correct.
Subjectivity being the single product.
Yeah. And that's, we can't get paid any more or any less from an individual carrier. So there's zero incentivization to go to one versus the other. So when I recommend, say, and I guess I probably shouldn't use brand names because it's going to sound like I sway towards one or the other, but like, just for instance, if there's Joe Schmo's insurance and Jane Doe's insurance, maybe I go to one over the other just because of my experiences with that company thus far, which, I mean, is kind of what you want, right? You go to a broker because they have experience and they have, real world applications of how this policy has actually worked, because how something looks on paper versus how it's in real life is probably, much different. And so some things can get, upsold on paper and say, all right, yeah, this sounds so good. And then you go to actually use it and it's like, oh, there's no doctors in network. It's terrible. Yeah. So it might be great in another location, but being here and being very familiar with Palm Coast, we know all the doctors, we know how everything works, we know the best places for imaging, when to go, where to go, and all these good things. It's really like a great tool for somebody. So
I love that there's no incentive.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I don't know how it works with all brokers and stuff like that. Maybe it's the same, but I had no idea they're not incentivized to sell one product versus another. Like they would make more commissions or something like that. But I love that. There's something pure about that.
Yeah, no, and it's awesome that they make it that way. In other industries, property and casualty and other things like that nature, it's, commission based off of sales. So like say they get 10% off of a total premium. It's like, all right, obviously I'm going to try to upsell you on some other, forms of insurance versus this is like, all right, what do you need? What is your lifestyle? What do you think, what pair of shoes is going to fit you best? And that's what's kind of drew me towards this.
Right.
And yeah, no, I get so excited every time I talk about it because it's like, it's not the easiest job. I can't say easy as in it's just a walk in the park. The knowledge to be had to do a good job is a lot, and there's a lot of rigorous testing that you have to go through and certifications and all these other measures to be not necessarily an expert, but a professional in this field.
Yeah, well-rounded.
Well-rounded, correct. And so it's like, it's easy though. All you have to do is have a conversation with people and understand people's needs. Yeah. And our seniors, which is what we pride ourselves in being, we can't use the words expert anymore because of guidelines. So it's hard to say it without saying it. But we pride ourselves in being very knowledgeable in the Medicare field. And it's kind of our bread and butter, and people trust us for that. And we love to pride ourselves on being so local and just, I mean, you have all these people that like, there's so much Medicare fraud. It's like one of the number one frauds in America right now. Oh, wow, yeah. Is like Social Security fraud, Medicare fraud. And people don't know who to trust. They don't want to call a 1-800 number. They don't want to speak to somebody in some foreign country that they can't understand on the phone in a call center.
Sure.
They want to go down the street and talk to somebody. People like people. Yeah, and absolutely. That's what we're here for. So we got open enrollment coming up. That's our busy time of the year. Oh, yeah,
you're about to get busy.
Oh, yeah, we've been on cruise
control. Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is literally our Super Bowl for a few months. Yeah. So we have, we've been on cruise control the last couple months, getting in prep for this, and now we're about to hit the ground running. Oh, I don't think we really stopped running since last open enrollment, but
oh, really?
it's been absolutely insane.
Dude, I love that you guys are local. That's cool. And your local base right here, was it Leanne Way is what I saw?
Literally 2 minutes from the studio here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so I love that, and I love that you're saying like the different products is individual to that person, essentially. And like a person who may be a firefighter that's jumping out of airplanes to put out fires in California.
You might upsell them a little bit on some life insurances and stuff like that. But
you never know. You never know what they might need. So Ryan, were there any other topics you wanted to talk about before we close here that maybe the audience needs to know about? I always like to give an opportunity for that because, when you're just having a nice organic conversation, some things might get left out.
So, I mean, nothing specifically. I mean, it's health insurance. It's as complicated as you make it. And if you try to do the information yourself and do all the research yourself, it's doable, but we're a locally owned and operated business. Why not use us? We are we are just and I'm stumble when I try to say this because we have to be very careful with the words we use nowadays.
No expert. You can't say that.
Yeah. We're like, if you were to go build a house, to use a general contractor as a a good comparison, you could go build a house by yourself, right? Sure. Anybody could do it. Yeah. Anybody could watch a video online, Google stuff. Mm-hmm. But how much time would that take you, and how problematic could that become? Very much. By doing it yourself. Yeah. And people go through general contractors and pay a lot of money. Sure. We're pretty much a general contractor for health insurance and retirement solutions, and we are free. We don't cost a dime. So I try to tell people it's very simple. Just give us a call and we'll figure it out. Not everybody that walks in gets sold something. We do what's 100% in the client's best interest. Half the time people walk out and they have a great retirement plan, or we just advise them on what's the best for their situation. So awesome. Ryan, would you throw out your contact information so people know how to get in contact with you to get their questions? Yeah, so answered? I will we have our website, which is 386 Medicare, which I think it's actually changed now to Atlantic Benefit Consultants because of the whole guideline changes. Yeah. So I'd have to double check on that because it's a recent change. But well, I Googled it in order to get this image. Yeah, the easiest way to find it is just Atlantic Benefit Consultants in Palm Coast, or just insurance company in Palm Coast, and we're one of the top because we have a lot of great reviews. And nice. But myself, my personal cell phone is 386-547-5317. And then my email address is just ryan@atlanticbenefitconsultants.com. Awesome. People should get excited about healthcare, though, because everyone needs it. Everyone needs life insurance. At some point, you're going to need Medicare and all that stuff. Yeah, you get insurance hoping you don't need it, right? Like I pay a lot of money for insurance on my truck. And because if something, if you get in an accident, hopefully nothing ever happens to you, injury-wise. But your biggest fear should be your health at the time, not, oh my gosh, I just totaled my truck. I don't know what I'm going to do financially. It's like, all right, I can start thinking about what color I'm going to go get another one. It's like, you shouldn't, if you protect yourself with the proper insurances, then you can go through life a lot more stress-free. I love that. But fact is, folks out there, the audience, look, you need insurance, you need health insurance. Inevitably, we are all going to get sick, injured, what have you. And so going through a broker like Ryan Anderson here from Atlantic Benefit Consultants, they are not paid any additional fee out of your pocket. They're paid by the insurance company. One of the things I really loved about the company too is they're local. They're people actually right here in Palm Coast, only anyway. Not just that, they are not incentivized to offer one product over another, which is really important when you're looking for a broker who's going to objectively look at your situation and determine which product makes the most sense for you, the individual. So make sure you guys reach out to Ryan Anderson at Atlantic Benefit Consultants so you can get that conversation started. Make sure you have the proper coverage for your individual situation. And again, this has been Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. Again, this space is great for anyone who has a business and wants to come shout out their business, an individual that has ideas that they want to use our platform to shout out their ideas, or political candidate that wants to connect directly to their constituents. We have call-in features here. Political candidates out there, I want you in the studio. I want you to go live here in the studio and live answer questions. That would be awesome. Might be a little terrifying for you as well, but let's make that happen. It would be fun. Exactly. Maybe get some opposing ones in here too. Yeah. No prank callers though. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, guys, make sure you reach out to get scheduled here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. Like always, I'll see you next time.